Okay, so welcome to today's talk. And today, in today's webinar, we are going to talk about something very interesting that we discuss about normally, and I get many emails and letters about this. Is about how to understand mind rubrics and what is the right way of understanding mind rubrics. Because I'm working for this for last 8 years, and I've written a book on mind rubrics, which I hope in 2019 I'm able to publish, God willing. So, so I learned from different people about mind rubrics, right from Kolkata to Bombay school to Delhi school to everyone. And then I realized the best way is to make your own ideas, learn from everyone, but then apply it in your own way, in your own understanding. You remember what Hahnemann's father said to him: "Hold all what's good." So, how to understand the rubrics? I believe are three steps. The number one step is understand the rubric first in depth, what it means. What is the origin of that word? What is the meaning of that word? The second step is to understand cross references, which means, for example, there is a rubric obstinate, which is another close rubric like obstinate. Disobedient, which is another close rubric to obstinate. Contrary, which is another close rubric. Like that, you have to make patterns of different rubrics. Also, you have to think about how different rubrics are given in different ways. How it must be given in Kent, how it must be given in complete, how it must be given in Fatak, how it must be given in Nair. So be open, be flexible about looking at different repertories in mind. You remember Bonninghausen repertory has only 17 to 18 rubrics. So the first step, understand the rubric, the word origin. The second step, understand cross references. And the third step, now from the rubric, start understanding the remedy in the rubric. Understand why that remedy is in the rubric, what it means, what is the pattern of that remedy, how to understand other rubrics of that remedy to understand that remedy. And finally, and this is the final quote you can say, is to understand the provings. So you have to understand how did that rubric come into that remedy. Let me give you one very simple example. So if you open the rubric, let's see the rubric. Let's see the rubric. Okay, offended easily. Okay, and if you study offended easily as a rubric, let's have a look here. Offended easily, and if you see very closely, you will find somewhere. Let's see one remedy here given as ranunculus bulbosus, and there are 150 remedies in this rubric. Now we need to understand how is the first, what is the meaning of offended. Number two, where does this offended easily come from? Number three, how this offended easily is given in that remedy. For example, ranunculus bulbosus. How it is given in ranunculus bulbosus. How did the prover actually feel it? To understand the real taste of it. I like to give examples, especially examples related to food. Okay. So you can see ranunculus bulbosus, and how to understand the rubric in depth, you have to go into the provings. So if you go into the provings, let's say you go into, well, one of the proving is herring, another proving is Allen's encyclopedia, another proving is Hahnemann's Pura. Stephenson has done the proving again. So if you just open a proving, let's see Allen's encyclopedia for example from Mind. Very interesting, you'll see. देखिए क्या लिखा है. It's written, vexed and inclined to be angry. Coral scolds when slight cause is offered. Ill-humored and disposed to quarrel, scold the first forenoon. In the evening he is despondent, apprehensive, sensitive, and discontented. On second day he again is inclined to be provoked by innocent. He is inclined to be provoked by innocent jests, as if like small jokes, chota sa mazak of his friends. And because this continues for several days. So the idea of ranunculus bulbosus of offended easily is where a slight joke of a friend offends him. This is ranunculus bulbosus. This is in depth. This is the way you have to understand every rubric. And this is the way you have to understand every remedy in the rubric. And then, my friend, you become the master of the reflection. And I am work in progress. But I want you to be with me and let's do it together. So, let me give you some more examples, some more thoughts what I do, because this topic I really, really enjoy talking about and working on. Some glimpses. Let's take a simple, very simple rubric. This for all students, interns, early practitioners, my colleagues, my senior doctors, all of them there. Let's see the rubric egotism. This is given in Kent. This is given also in the repertory of complete in synthesis and synthetic. So what does egotism mean? Let's see. The main idea of egotism, ego, is the idea of lot of self-importance. And if you read about Jung's idea, ego is the part of the mind that mediates between conscious and unconscious. It's actually who you are. Interestingly, what I do often is I go into word origin. So what I do, I go into dictionary like this. Let's see the dictionary. Where are you? Dictionary, and I'll type ego, and then I will find out here what does ego actually mean in the origin. So in the origin, ego means it comes from the Latin word I, me. So if someone has too much of I, then you have to think about the rubric egotism. So really, the meaning actually becomes much clearer when you read the word origin. So I want to tell you the secret behind my understanding of rubrics, which I learned from Dr. Sankaran, which I learned from Dr. Sarkar, which I learned from Dr. L.M. Khan, I learned from Banerjee, from ICR, from all the places, is to go into depth, understand word origins, and then also understand the provings. I remember one patient who had come to see me, and he was a homeopath actually, and he had a lot of eczema. So I just asked him, what? Tell me about your stress. He said, "What stress? You know, I'm going to be the next greatest homeopath. Um, which car do you drive? I will be in few years, I will be driving the new Mercedes. I'll be earning so much the whole world will see me. I'm so great, you don't know." This is the way he would talk, You don't know what I did once, doctor. I went there and I treated one case of cancer. It got cured in one dose. Just the way of his talking. Very interestingly, you can have a look at the rubric. Egotism, overestimation of himself. खुद के बारे में बहुत ज़्यादा. And a better rubric is egotism, reciting their exploits. मैंने देखो क्या किया है, मैंने देखो क्या कांड किया है, देखो मैं क्या चीज़ हूँ. This is also given in provings of Allen's. This is agaricus. This is the state of agaricus. This is the way I understand every remedy. And this is the way to understand single drug rubrics. And it's fantastic the way to do it. Fantastic. So this patient got agaricus, but the idea was how to pick up patient's language into rubrics. Now, once you come to egotism, you also need to know the difference between the other close rubrics. Now, there's another rubric, contemptuous. The idea of contemptuous is that there has to be the idea, okay, I have an ego, but the idea is you are nothing in front of me. आप कुछ भी नहीं हो. So you have to understand contempt comes from the word contempt, and contemptuous means, you can see here in the word origin, despise, to put the other person down. This is the idea of contemptuous. This is the idea of actually a little bit of platina, palladium. Another rubric is dictatorial. Dictatorial is basically a person who wants to behave in a very autocratic way. Like the idea of a ruler, the idea of, for example, Trump or Saddam Hussein. मैं बोल रहा हूँ आप सुनो. I am telling you, listen. Typically, one of the remedies there is mercury. Mercury will be like that, dictatorial. On the other hand, there's another rubric, haughty. Haughty is just that I am at high. You're there or not there, doesn't matter to me. Contemptuous means you are nothing, I am high. And dictatorial, you listen, I say. So you see, it may sound all similar, and maybe remedies are also there in all of the three which are same, but still a little flavor is different. This is what you have to learn to pick up the flavors. Let's take another interesting rubric. And this is the way I've written the entire book. I've written about 8,000 rubrics of mind and how I understood it. And it was an amazing experience for me. So, an interesting little rare rubric. This is not given in Kent, it is given in complete and synthesis and synthetic. The rubric is embittered. Is a feeling that causes a strong feeling of bitter feeling, resentment, anger, hurtful, a kind of rancor, a kind of sour feeling, a kind of unjust feeling, a kind of feeling अरे यार ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है. And I'll tell you how I had used it once. There was a very interesting case of a 16-year-old guy, typically of cough. And the symptom of cough was that cough typically would get better by lying down. And when I asked him about stress, he showed me a photograph of a middle-aged man. I asked him, "Who's this?" He said, "This is my father. He is my stress." There is so much of bitterness about him that I can't describe to you what I feel when I talk about him. I can't talk to you. I feel bitter the way he treated me. I asked him, "What do you do then?" He said, "I listen to Hemant Kumar's songs. I listen to old songs, sad songs. ये दुनिया अगर मिल भी जाए तो क्या है?" So when I analyzed this case, very interesting, I picked up the rubric, a lot of bitter feeling beneath, embittered, cough lying ameliorate, and music sad ameliorate. The remedy there is manganum aceticum. You know, this is the main symptom of manganum, sad music ameliorate. This is Hahnemann's brewing. And fantastically the boy improved. His state of mind improved, the way he looks at things improved, his cough improved, and it was a remarkable case. But this is what it is. And there are different close rubrics, embittered is the idea of bitter feeling. But there is another rubric, accusation unjust. मेरे पे आरोप कैसे लगा है? Or anger suppressed, suppressing. Or sensitive to rudeness if someone says something rudely. So when you think about a rubric, think about different rubrics. But not just thinking about different rubrics, you have to understand the pattern of the case. When you think about mind rubrics, don't forget the physical rubrics. Okay, let's talk about another interesting rubric here. This is a rubric envy. What does envy mean? The main idea of envy is a state of discontent, a resentment, especially aroused by another person's qualities of possession or luck. यार उसके पास कैसे मेरे पास कैसे नहीं? How does he have I don't have? Now envy and jealousy come very close, isn't it? What is the difference? The difference is in jealousy there'll be a lot of competitive feeling. You have it, I'm going to screw you. I'm going to make sure you don't get it. This is jealousy. Envy is you have it, yeah, I don't have. So there's a little bit of unfortunate discontentment feeling. I had an interesting case once, a case of thyroidism, a hypothyroidism, and his main symptom was that uh, he felt very very insecure, and he felt very very envious that his friend who's a professor now, he gets more respect than him, and he also respects this person, but he respects him too much and he feels envious. Oh, why, how come people respect him? And especially to people whom he respects, he feels envious. It's a very interesting case. Envy to those venerated is respect. Blata was the remedy, interestingly. See how different rubrics we can make. Another rubric, and I can go on talking about rubrics for like a month non-stop. It's so interesting for me, and how I pick up the rubrics, how to see what patient says, and how to convert that into rubrics. This is the entire magic of repertory. Another rubric is the rubric effeminate. This is something that you don't have to ask questions, you have to just observe. And the main idea of effeminate, and I see it very often nowadays, is the idea of male, someone like a male who, who has a little characteristic, the way of talking, the way of gestures, a little bit like female. Effeminate comes from the word feminine, effeminate, so a little bit qualities of feminine. And there are many remedies there. Staphysagra pulse you should remember for sure, and Baryta salts. So some ideas I wanted to give you. A lot of things here need to be explored more, but I just wanted to give you a hint how to study the mind rubrics. I hope I'm able to publish sometime this year or next what I wrote about repertory. So I want to tell you, you have a unbelievable potential within you, all of you, and especially my friend there, you. But you have to work a little bit. You have to do a little sacrifice on yourself. Make every second count. Make yourself so powerful, people will come to you. My teacher would often tell, sugar is there, hands will come. So whatever you decide to do, make a small plan for yourself, be disciplined, and work on it relentlessly, relentlessly, day after day, day after day, day after day, day after day, till actually the magic starts coming. I have a close friend. I always tell that you shouldn't wait. You shouldn't wait. You shouldn't wait till you sign your first autograph. So anyway, this is one of my favorite line which I want to tell you. Every genius was first ridiculed before they were revered. Keep this in your mind. So you can write to me. This is my email ID. I have my Skype ID. I have my YouTube channels, Homeopathic Hub, Alpesh are my friend. You can contact me on Facebook. Write to me what you think about. And have a good one.